Last week, I signed a contract for my biggest project of the year so far. I was unbelievably excited, but just an hour later, I found myself in the pit of jealousy once again. I was scrolling on Instagram and came across this guy who was selling a similar thing to what I had just sold this client, but was offering 10 times the outcome and making literally thousands times more than I was. And I had to catch myself. I had just celebrated a huge win for my business. Why did I feel like a failure? Is all comparison bad for you? After some reflection, I have some thoughts I want to share. We've all heard the phrase, comparison is the thief of joy, but I don't know if that's the best way to say it. Lately, I've been thinking, jealousy is the thief of joy. I think every creative experiences two kinds of comparison. The first one is constructive comparison, and the second one is jealous comparison. Now, one I think can actually be really helpful for you, while the other seems to only ever be hurtful and detrimental to your creative well-being. Now, jealous comparison, I'm just gonna call it jealousy. It's pretty much never good for you as a creative or just as a human being in general. Jealousy, broken down, is really just looking at what someone else has and wishing that you had it right now, thinking you deserve it right now, and being filled with bitterness and resentment, sometimes toward the person that has the thing because you don't have it. When you define it like that, I really don't know if there's a great way to apply it in your real life. Envy and jealousy are poisonous, and it seems to me that they only lead to more bitterness, more cynicism, and more excuses at the end of the day. I don't want that for my life in general, but especially my creative life. I don't need more excuses. I don't need to be more bitter about other people's success. And I don't need more cynicism. I don't need to believe that people are just doing this for the money. That kind of ruins and destroys my good faith in the people who are in the same field of work that I am. How could that possibly be helpful to me in my creative journey? I can't find a reason. This is something that I've struggled with my entire life, not just as a creative, but as a person. And I think it's something that every person who wants to improve struggles with. Jealousy. The hard thing is that there are always going to be people that will have more success, more stuff, more ability than you. And there is nothing that you can do about it to remove them from having any of those things, unless you do things that are clearly wrong to rid them of those things. So that's not the way. Jealous comparison, jealousy is not the way. Now, constructive comparison, I think, might be one of the best ways to grow as a human being and as a creative. I mean, how else can you know what to shoot for? How else can you know what's possible without seeing that it has been proven possible by someone else? I think this is more than half of the value of a coach or a mentor or someone that you look up to, is that they've done the thing that you want to do. I think another reason that I don't throw the concept of comparison out the window completely is because when I am in seasons of growth, I like to compare myself to who I was a year ago or even a week ago. That form of comparison I think is really helpful to see where were you before and where were you now. And that at its core is comparison. And I do believe when that's flipped on its head that it's really helpful as well. If you were better in a certain area in your life last year than you are today, it's probably a really clear sign, if you care about that thing, that you've got some work to do. Constructive criticism is an incredible thing. It can help you see where you've come from, where you are now, and when you constructively compare yourself to other people, it can really show you what's possible for your own life. Jealousy is never helpful, and it more than likely will keep you from actually growing or pursuing anything worth meaning. If your life is marked by jealousy, you're probably gonna try to accomplish things in spite of other people. And that's not helpful or fun for anyone. All of this to say, I don't feel like a failure anymore. And that's not to say I won't ever feel like a failure again. I'm sure I will, but I'm really proud of how far I've come in my filmmaking journey. And I don't want to discount that and replace it with jealousy of how far other people have come, especially when it feels so unattainable. I started making videos when I was 9 years old. I started my business 10 years ago, and I still feel like I'm in the beginning stages of what I hope is a lifelong career. So starting today, I'm gonna fight hard against jealousy. It's never been there for me, it's never helped me. And I'm gonna devote a little bit more time to constructive criticism, but none of this stuff is gonna be helpful if I don't actually move, if I don't actually take action towards progress. I love filmmaking. I love running this business, and I love making a living telling stories. I truly wanna do this for the rest of my life. Don't you?